Hello, hello, everybody. Look at my clothes all over the place. Let's get ourselves nice and proper. Good evening. This is Joanne. Very happy to be here this beautiful Thursday. Say hello, let me know where you're streaming in from. I was just getting myself nice and tidied. So, those of you who joined me from the offset, you now have proof that it's a live session and that we are here to teach. And before I bring in my guest, I just want to do a quick introduction of myself. I realize that many people are joining the channel, many people are subscribing, and I just want to say a big thank you so much for being a part of this community and for joining me on my weekly conversations, just being here and just being able to share different tools, around success mindset, different tools around entrepreneurship, different tools around what it really takes to live a life by design and not by default. Discussions around understanding that it is your time to thrive. There is no better time than now to surrender to what you've been put to do and to express yourself in the best way that suits you. And that's my calling, that's my role in this world. In this season and in this time, I have been called to help ambitious, trailblazing women to really clarify with their purpose and align with their soul's path so that you can launch a business only that is not only sustainable but is also scalable. So we talk about a prosperous, purposeful, and profitable business. So if you're here, write for me PPP in the chat and say hello. I want to know where you're streaming in from. And as we wait for my guests to come in, let me know. Right, let's see where you are coming in from as I bring up my guests. And before I bring up my guest, what I'm going to take you through with her. She's here. I can see she's patiently waiting, looking really beautiful. PPP. Thanks, Reina. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thanks, Team Joanne, for PPPing. Susie, thank you for PPP. And invite your friends. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Tere. I appreciate you. And you're streaming in from Ireland. And I had the privilege, before I bring my guests, to have Sue actually visit me here in the UK over the weekend, and she came all the way from Ireland, and it was our first time to meet in person, and she's been my client for a while. So what a privilege. So thank you so much, Sue, for you and your husband taking the time to come all the way to the United Kingdom to spend some time with me. It was beautiful. Jada is here. So now that we have the quorum, PPPs are in the house, let me bring in my amazing friend and guest who I deeply adore. Hello, Miss Ronish. You're hearing me PPPing away. So PPP is, a business that is, prosperous, that is also purposeful and is profitable. And why I like those three words is because they depict everything that I have prayed for and everything that I believe that is our birthright as women, that we are catalysts for change and that we are here to leave a much bigger legacy. And how can you tell people about prosperity, and being purposeful and being profitable if it's not something that you're doing yourself? And why I'm here is to show people what is possible. And I want to talk, literally take you, my audience and my friends and everybody who is watching, through a case study of one of my friends, and she agreed to be the guinea pig for this. And it's, Ronish, I'm so grateful because every time I call upon you, you actually, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be with you, I'm gonna support you, and I don't take that for granted at all. So I just want to thank you, Nish, very much for always being in my corner. I call on you and you're like, yeah, let's do it, girl, let's do it. Betty's here. She says hello to us both. And again, I just want to really say thank you, my girl. Really, thank you so much. So before we go into the content, Ronish, I would want to introduce you my way, but I don't want to do that for purposes of case study, because if I'm to start, I'll just burst into tears. And I've just finished. I finished a very emotional call with my my ladies who I took through the prosperous, purposeful, and profitable business bootcamp, and today
Mhm.
was their last Q&A session before we get the next cohort running, and the feedback that they gave was incredible. But it all starts with a journey, Ronish, isn't it?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't jump out of my mom's womb. God rest her soul in eternal peace. But I did not jump out of her womb screaming, I'm a coach! I'm a coach! No, nobody is born. I wasn't born knowing that this is the
Mm.
thing that I had been assigned to. And many people look at people running businesses and doing things, and they're like, oh, it's so natural for them. How come I'm not doing it? And I want us to dispel that myth that people have. Like we popped out of our mom's womb screaming that we are coaches. No, it's something that we you know what I mean? We have gone through the fire. We have gone through the flames. We have gone through everything up until where we are now. And I can sing until I can sing until the cows go home, or whatever the statement is. But people sometimes need to hear it from somebody else. So
Mhm.
Ronish, I'm going to share with you what your people are saying. They're saying that I love your smile.
Ah,
I
thank
love
you.
your smile. Yeah, beautiful smile, beautiful personality, and I love your everything, right? Yeah,
Oh, Joanne,
yeah,
thank you. I
yeah. So
receive
let's
it.
go.
I
You
receive
receive it. You receive it.
it.
Renish, please introduce yourself, my darling, to the people watching you. We have audiences across the world. So
Mhm.
tell us, who is
Yeah,
Renish?
sure. And Joanne, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and it's a pleasure to be able to share. And I guess my intention and hope is that someone will be encouraged, at least one person on this call will be encouraged today. So my name is Renish Myers. I'm a finance coach and founder of Money Heave, which is a financial coaching service. And what we do is we partner with employers to develop and implement financial well-being strategies for their employees. Alongside that, we also work with professionals to help them get better with their money. Ultimately, it's one thing to make money; it's another thing to be able to manage that money and ultimately multiply that money. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be here. My background's in finance. I've been in the world of finance now for over 10 years. I've worked in the film and TV industry, worked for an organization like Netflix. I'm sure you've heard of them. My experience ranges. I started off in the church as a treasurer. I went to university and studied accounting and finance. I left there. I worked as a commercial accountant, got promoted within 6 months, and then it led me on to becoming a finance manager at the age of 25. So it's so funny because I've actually tried to run away from finance so many times, and God's like, get your backside back in it. But what's beautiful is that I've been able to explore and really find my niche and find where I really enjoy. And what I do now, assisting professionals in building and creating wealth through money management and financial wellness is just absolutely beautiful. So I love it.
Beautiful. So were you born knowing that you're helping people with their financial well-being, helping people that whole session?
No,
Like,
it's definitely been over time. I definitely would say the area of finance, though, it's always been in that area, but I didn't necessarily know what that had looked like. So when I was younger, funny enough, I used to play, I didn't have anyone to play with, like Monopoly and stuff. And I would play that by myself. My
wow,
right hand would play my left hand, and I would always be very fair. So I feel like I've, from a young age, I've always been into numbers and maths and money specifically. But I wasn't sure where I fitted within that. But I do believe I found my area until God tells me otherwise.
until God tells you otherwise. And I want us to go from the beginning because I want to chip in there. Ronisha just shared something that it started from an early age, her love for numbers. And many of us do not recognize that the gift that is within us, that is meant to be expressed to the world, is in us. It's not outside of us, it's already there. And some
Mm.
of you may know the story that I share very often of how, growing up, I was one of those really, really curious kids. Like I asked questions. One time a visitor came to the house and I overheard some adults saying, oh, they're going through a divorce and I didn't know what that is. And this couple come in. Oh my God. This is when parents feel like they can lock their kids in a kennel, right? If they and the couple come in and I'm like, oh, I had somebody saying you're going through a divorce. What's that? Can I help you with your divorce? And I know, can I help you with your divorce? And I didn't even know what that was. And I could just see the look on my dad's face, child. But the thing is, it has always been there. The love
Mm,
of talking, the love of communicating, and the love of wanting to help, even without really knowing what I'm helping with. And
mm,
when I now share with my family what I do, my dad is like, it's a no-brainer. You started
mm,
doing this stuff when you were a little child. We just didn't know what it would morph up into.
mm,
And why I'm
mhm,
having this, sharing this, and ladies contributors, you go in the chat, is many of us grow up muffled. We grow up being taped literally our mouths, like, don't
mm,
say that, that's not proper, that's not right. And many of our children and us, as you grow older, Nish, I'm older than you, and as you grow older, you find you're somewhat muffled. You don't really fully self-express because you've
mhm,
always been taught, like, oh, don't just go opening your mouth, don't just go saying whatever it is that comes out of your mouth. And therein, in that mouth, lies the asset that God is going to use to promote you and to help leverage you in the world. And that's
mhm,
exactly what happened. When I went through my own transformation, my own awakening, my own process where I really discovered my purpose, I literally at some point went mute. When I say mute, went mute, I couldn't talk. My voice went
mm,
because I was literally, that the old me was being shed to release me into the new. And
mhm,
I won't go into Louise Hay's book. The doctor said it's laryngitis, but I knew what it was. It was my voice calling out. My voice calling out to be released into the world. And I knew, and every day was a fight. I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. And when the voice came, I knew now I have officially been released to do this work. And guess what? Sometimes the voice goes, but deep inside, I remember that I had to go through a period, about 1 week of serious muting for me to really appreciate what my calling is. And
mm,
now I value my voice like I have never valued it before. Let's
mhm.
start. So when you did share that you went to uni, and
Mhm.
then I think you mentioned that I think you said you started with some voluntary work in church. Was that what you said? And then you went to
Yeah,
uni.
yeah.
Give us that story, because people. I want us to recognize that we start from humble beginnings. You don't
Mhm.
just wake up one day and you have this empire that you're running. Please share with us the humble
Yeah.
beginnings. Where did you start from?
Yeah, so I mean, it even kind of went back a bit further than that because I actually, funny enough, I enjoyed maths. Um,
Mhm,
yeah, so it started from me, from primary school, enjoying mental maths and all of that. And they would say to me, your daughter's, to my mom, your daughter's going to be a mathematician. And so, my mom would speak that over me.
mhm,
So she always
mhm,
knew it was numbers and something in that area. And then I did A levels. So I studied accounting, business, maths, use of maths, and law. And through that, I fell in love with accounting. And also, my uncle was an accountant. So I was exposed a little bit to it as well. And actually, I would say he's had a big part just seeing him be an accountant, seeing him with his suit and his briefcase, that really encouraged me. So, yeah, for me, do you know what? It's so funny because most things for me start in church.
mhm,
Um, even where I am now in my business, and I know you'll pull it out of me of how exactly the business started, but I want to go into this bit now because we're talking about things starting in the church. And how I went to the next level
Mm.
was it came upon me one day. It was like it was during COVID times, and they said, and I felt God saying to me, speak to your at the time the head of marketing, and let them know you want to do some lives talking about money on our church's Facebook page. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to be doing that.
Mm.
No, not. And I was fighting with it, and then the first lady of my church called me, and not to say she never calls me, but she doesn't, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So it was like, wow. And so she's talking, and I'm like, should I tell her? Should I not? What I felt God laid on my spirit. And then I told her, and then she said, well, you know what you need to do then, don't you? You need to do it. You need to follow that. And yeah, when I spoke to the head of marketing at the time, he said, yeah, sure, come on, do it. And for me, that was such a scary thing to do. It was so out of my comfort zone. But yeah, to be teaching the church how to manage their money, and that being my first platform, I was so scared. I think afterwards I felt like I was going to vomit. But it was such a good experience. And now when I look at my growth, and I go back to my first video and I look at how timid I was and shy, and now speaking on
Oh,
stages and speaking, in front of large audiences around the world, it just blows me away. But there's one other thing that I want to say is that actually, and as I'm saying it, it's just reminded me that I actually used to go to, I don't know what it's called, but basically, my mom used to enter me into competitions to speak. Right. So literally, you just speak. You had to read
wow.
a script.
Toastmasters, like for kids or something like
Must have
that.
been, must have been,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
literally, I'd be entered into these competitions, and I would get marked on how well I spoke and read and articulated myself. And so, do you know what? It started for me from an early age, and now I can see that all the things I was doing was preparing me to where I am today. So it's kind of come full circle. So it's I'm in a beautiful space, and I know we're going to talk about purpose a bit more, but my purpose and my passion has opened doors for me personally to birth this business. But yeah, I can see Jada. Yeah, you was there. Do you remember it?
Oh,
Oh.
Jane, she's so sweet. Yeah. She says she remembers your first Facebook Live, and I've
Yeah,
highlighted for you to see that we all start somewhere. And
yeah.
I want you to talk about, before we delve deeper into what I want us to talk about, talk to us about that fear. Because you said you did it and then you literally were feeling nauseous. And I just jumped from a call where, one of the ladies was sharing how fearful she is about, launching her business and that thing. And I said, for me, what I've learned is to separate me, Joanne, from my
Yeah.
calling because
Hmm.
it's not about me.
Yeah.
The moment something starts being, I am feeling nervous, I am feeling scared,
Mm,
I realize it's my ego that is
mm,
talking, not my purpose, not my calling, because my purpose is bold. My purpose is courageous. My purpose has been called at a much bigger level than I see it.
mhm,
And many of us have the burden of the calling. And the burden of the calling is where you're like, God, this thing is too much. It's too much. Or where do I even start? Like, and then we start tying knots all of our minds, all of our brains about where to start. And God is just telling you, take that first step. So, what did you do to overcome that fear?
Oh, what did I do? Do you know what? Um, telling others about what I plan to do. So, for example, in that example that I gave you, I told the first lady of my church, and so by her saying, "Well, you know what you need to do," then it's like that accountability piece, because I'm not going to say something and not do it.
Not do
So
it. Yeah.
yeah, so that's very key. Also feeling the fear and doing it anyway, getting uncomfortable, because I used to tell myself that I was shy. I used to think or feel like not good enough. So those are the sort of feelings that I had. Like, do I even qualify to talk about this? Do I even have experience in this? These were the things that were going through my mind. But as I've told you my wealth of knowledge. I told you I started in church. I've been doing this since a very young age. Even my mum, I used to manage my mum's finances from the age of 15, and she could see that I was good at it. So um, I'm more than
Wow.
qualified, more than
What
qualified. So,
qualified.
and even my dad, any events that he has or anything, I'm always around the numbers. He's always like, yeah, yeah, my daughter will deal with that. So I've always been in like a high position of trust from very early. I've always, I think, naturally been good at it. Even though I've kind of shied away from it at times, but I've really embraced it and I've really learned to love it in the way that I want to love it and make it something that's now a business and that helps hundreds of people, thousands of people now. We've gone past 1,000 mark now, like in terms of people we've been able to help and impact. And yeah, I guess the mission for us is to help 1 million professionals, a minimum of 1 million professionals, to create a
Minimum, minimum,
minimum minimum.
minimum.
So yeah, it's the foundation. It's the foundation. People experiencing anxiety, depression, not living on purpose, not doing what they're called to do. They're hiding behind their finances. Like, it's my job. I believe it's my role, my purpose to help people clear the fog. And that's why I really love what you do, because I feel like what we do, it just complements each other. I had to find my purpose. I had to understand it, because when I understood my assignment, when I understood the area that I should be in, it just, there's nothing else for me to do. I wouldn't know what else to do with myself. Like, I don't have a plan B.
It's
There's been times where I've felt like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? But I have nothing else to turn to. So you better figure it out.
yeah.
And so I think that's the problem sometimes with people. They have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. They're just all over the place. They haven't made a decision to commit to their lifelong purpose. And I've made a decision to go all in on that. And that mission, I just keep that at the center of everything that I do. When things are not going well, listen, that's like, I always have to ground myself, remembering why I'm doing this. When I don't want to show up on Instagram, there's people that need to hear this, Renish. It's not about me. It's not about me looking good. Um, that's
Yeah.
another thing
Oh,
that
my
kept
hair.
me.
Oh,
Is
my
my
hair.
hair good?
Yeah. Oh,
Do
my
it.
lipstick. I don't have lipstick on. A lot of
Yeah.
rubbish, isn't it? Like, look at
And that
certain.
was still work in progress, Joanne.
Exactly, but you know what I mean? Like, we hold ourselves back because of things that should not be holding us back. But I want us to go
Mhm.
back to the beginning. So tell us about how your corporate life, and when did you start to have this stirring? Tell us about your corporate, and when did you start to have this stirring in your spirit that there is something more?
Yeah.
Because I'm talking, there's some professionals right here, people in corporate who are sitting in soul sucking jobs, but are so
Yeah.
scared that if I leave my job, I'm gonna lose my medical. If I
Yeah.
leave my job, I'm gonna lose this big fat salary, or even though it's not a
Yeah.
big fat salary, that stability of income
Mhm.
coming in every month. Tell us about your career, your corporate career, and at what point it came that, you know what, it's time for me to make my move. Let's talk about that and how
Yeah.
that led to that.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. So it got to a place when I was working as a finance manager, and good
And give
salary,
us
good
the years, like, because I want people to see the time scale.
time
So,
scale.
like,
Yeah.
say in
Okay.
20, in
So
2018, 2019, 2020,
yeah.
like that.
Okay. So 20, I would say around 2016.
2016, yeah.
2016. So at that point, that's where I felt like, nah, there's got to be more than me just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. And it was like I had to put a gun to my head every morning just to go. It was horrible. It was just horrible. But I was in such a good position, having great prospects. You know, the next level for me was like a financial controller or finance director. And my organization was really nurturing me and had really, you know, I was working with directors and so forth. And I actually felt really guilty because I was like, they've invested so much in me, you know. How, yeah, no,
Mm,
I can't. Like, it's, you know,
mm.
I don't want to be ungrateful, you know, for what they've done. But it got to the point where enough was enough. I had to make a change. I was just so unhappy inside, you know, on the surface, looking like things were good. Um, but the reality of it was I wasn't in a good place. And what I did then, so me and my friend at the time, we would, well, she's still my friend, but basically we would have an annual trip and we would go to somewhere really nice. And so I went to Thailand and yeah, when I took my last, like I used my overdraft to go, and that's another thing. I was working, I didn't even have money. Like I had this good job, and yet I couldn't see my wealth. You know, so what was it all for? That was my attitude. Why even bother? Like I can't even see it in my bank account. So
So
anyway,
here, Nish, let me interrupt that because that's a
yeah, yeah,
big. So here you're making like some big good income. Let me put it that way. You're
yeah,
making good income, but literally it's entering the pocket and just getting drained. And you don't even have disposable income that even for this trip that you're taking with your friend, you had to take an overdraft to use your overdraft
yep. I had to
facility.
use my credit card and I had to use my overdraft as well to be transparent. To go. But I was adamant I was going, right? So I went, imagine this, I went to Thailand for 8 days, right? And it just changed my life. I said, I can't do this anymore. I went there, had a good time. We stayed in like a brand new hotel. It just had been made. And my eyes were like, just,
There's another world.
yeah. I was like, nah, I can't, you know. So I came back and I just had the worst holiday blues. And at
Hold
that,
on. Tell us about Thailand when you were entering some of the shops and you had to take, because I know the
oh,
story.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's
I
share a
love
little bit of that.
Thailand. Yeah, sorry, I'm not really giving you much description about it ever, but
Just tell us
yeah,
because I need
Thailand's
to hear a bit more because I know the story, but I
yeah,
want you to
yeah,
share that.
yeah.
That was so
So
cool.
yeah, Thailand's absolutely beautiful, and when you go to the shops and stuff, you have to like take your shoes off in some of the shops. It's just they're just very clean and very friendly, and it's just a really nice country. If you haven't been, get it on the list. You'll absolutely love it. And yeah, just really nice and peaceful, and it just really
Mm,
opened my eyes to what was possible. My eyes were open, and that's another thing. You know, we have to open our eyes. Like there's a saying, I can't remember the saying, but like you can't you can't visualize what you can't see. And so
exactly.
it's really
Mm,
important that you put yourself in environments where you see yourself. And by me
mm,
putting myself in an environment where I saw myself, it opened me up to like, wow, come on, girl. Like, you can't just go back to these offices. Like, no, there's more to life. So it really just encouraged me and gave me that boom. And so when I came back, as I said, I had the worst holiday blues. I just didn't feel well. And there was nothing wrong with me. I knew it was because I just had a fantastic holiday. And at that point, I started to look for other opportunities. But I didn't, before I would make my decisions based on finance. So if I go for another job, the job will be based off how much I was being paid, right? But I made a decision that I was going to do what I actually enjoyed. So what I did was I actually went over to Ghana and I worked as a business consultant. And this is where the transformation happened. So what the difference here is I I made decisions based on passion, on purpose, on calling, what I really enjoyed, not just on how much is paying me. And that's sometimes a big problem that we're making decisions based on our finances. And it's like, but would you really do that? Would you really do that if you were in such a favorable position in your finances? Maybe not, you know. So yeah. So yeah, I went to Ghana. It was just amazing. I had a team
how
over
long were
there.
you
In the end, I was there for 3 months,
in Ghana? Oh,
working on a project over there. So yeah, it
did
was
you
just
do interact with local Ghanaian
Oh yeah, I was
gentlemen?
living like a local
Gentlemen,
local.
gentlemen.
Yes.
Did you meet any Ghanaian gentlemen that?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah, so yeah, I mean, they're very nice. I like the culture. They were very
yeah,
welcoming.
yeah.
Yeah, I
TV
had a
Joanne is in the house. She's watching and she's like, they better talk well about my country.
country. Oh yeah, yeah. I love Ghana's my third home.
And second is Kenya, I believe.
Fourth. We'll make Kenya fourth.
What? How? Ranish, where's the
I love
loyalty?
Kenya. I like Kenya. But you know what? I think I need to go again with you. I think you need to take me.
I need to take you. Everybody say if you want Ronish to come with me to Kenya, put it in the chat. I'll be bringing her to you real soon. So my Kenyan people, I know it's election time. I know it's election time. You have to see what Jada.
I think she's talking about the guy question.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's like typical Joanne to ask that question. And of course, right now there's a lot of stuff happening in Kenya because of the elections that's happening. And right now, Ronish, we need to probably one of the guys who wins one of the senator positions if they're single. I can start making some phone calls.
You can make some phone calls for me. How do you know
I
I'm
want
not taken, Joanne? How do you know I'm not taken?
No, no, you never know. It's a level playing ground. Let everybody bring what they have to offer, and may the best man win.
Yeah, yeah. Love it.
I know, but honestly, for me, Ronish, I know your love for Africa. I know your love for obviously for Kenya. I'll then say Ghana after that, and your service, right? Obviously, you're going to come definitely with me to my country. That's a fact. We're gonna do no limits conference and so many other things there, but let's go back to where we are. So here you are, 3 months in Ghana, learning so much. Continue the story. I interrupted you.
Yes. So it was just, I just loved it. No one outworks me. I was like, I just realized like it wasn't about the money for me. It was just about just serving and just doing good things. Like I was a consultant over there, and it was just so impactful, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And so that really opened me up to really living on purpose and not just applying for anything, but going with my heart. Like, what do I really want to do?
Mm,
What is it really, like having an open conversation with myself, like, do you enjoy that? Is that fun? And even in my business, at times, I've maybe outgrown certain roles in my business. When we first start, we're doing a bit of everything, and now I just make sure I'm constantly doing the bits that I enjoy, and I just delegate the rest. So I'm even learning, because as we grow and we develop, we may fall out of love with things that once were we used to love it. When I first started as a finance manager, I love my job, but after time, it wasn't for me. There was more for me. I wanted to grow faster. I didn't want to grow at the speed of my company. Like, being in my own business, the only limit is me. That's the only limit.
and hold on, write that on everybody. What? Repeat it again.
The only limit is me.
The only limit is me. I'll even type it myself. The only limit, and that's why we talk about no limits, right? It's a joint collaboration that Ronish and I ran. We just ran an event. I call her my baby Jada. Jada was there. Our youngest participant is making great strides in Ronish. I'll bring Jada into this mix. But how old is Jada, Ronish? Because she's here.
She's
How's
18. She's
she's
18.
18? What moves is she making at 18 years old?
This young lady has her own thriving business. Um, she's a netball player. She goes to university. She's got multiple businesses actually. She just blows me away, and she's a woman of
At
God.
18. And a
18.
lot of that came after attending the event. When she came, she got so much courage and
Mhm,
boldness. She kept sending
mhm,
this message to me and
mhm.
to yourself,
She might
saying
be
that
older now, actually. I think she's a little bit older now. I think her
she's
birthday's
19,
come and gone now. I think
18
she's
was
older. But I know
Oh
she started
goodness.
really, you know, she started really young, and she's, oh, I'm just so proud of her. And I say to her all the time, you know, it's so important that you're around to stay, don't lose this, you know, what you're doing at such a young age. Like by the time you're 25, you're going to be at least a multimillionaire. It
She
has to,
will.
you know. So,
Really? Oh, it, yes.
and we're
Part
bringing you over to Kenya, Jada. You're coming Kenya with us as well.
so we're going, and you know, Jada comes with her own makeup artist. You remember she came with her own makeup artist. Do you remember? She imported a makeup artist to a makeup person to come and to do her makeup at 5 a.m. in the morning, and she paid for her Uber. And do you remember? Like this,
I
I
remember.
was like, how old are you? She's like, there's no way I'm going to look like rubbish in your event. And she got this makeup artist who she paid for her Uber. She organized for her to come, and the lady did her makeup and everything, and she paid her from her pocket, not her mother's, her own money. And I'm like, she's 19 now. She's
Yeah, she's
19
19.
now, 20 in October. So you're going to come for the, we're going to have Jada's 20th birthday lunch. So hold me to it, Jada. Ronish and I are gonna take you for a very nice dinner for your birthday, just to celebrate the woman that you're becoming, because you're an inspiration to so many young ladies. And why I had to spotlight that is because many of us say, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too the other. I'm too multi-skilled, I'm too multi-talented. You know, there's like some people who are multi-talented and multi-gifted also use that as an excuse to do nothing. That I'm
Mm.
so gifted in so many areas, I can concentrate on one. So I really want to, why I brought her up is because I want to say it doesn't matter who you are. What Ronisha's just said, the only limit is you. You're the only one who is stopping yourself. Let's continue with the story. So now we're in Ghana. Where are we now? Where have we moved to? Where are
Yeah,
we?
where are we now? So I come back now. So I have a
You come back to
fantastic time.
England.
Yeah, you know, great experience, loved it. And I guess that just really opened me up to really living on purpose. So that's when I kind of identified the importance of living on purpose. And this is
Mm,
why I love what you're doing, because when you operate from a space of purpose, things are
mm,
just more fulfilling. You're more
mm,
happier as a person.
mm,
Opportunity, you can create opportunities for others, you know, so many other things, you know. But yeah, I came back, and again I came back and I took my time. I said, I'm not just taking any job, because, you know, again, you know, because of my background in accounting and finance, I was having recruitment agents saying, you ready to come back to work, and we can get you this job, and you know, and I was like, no, I'm going to take my time, and I'm only applying for things that I really want to do, like
mm.
really want to do. And yeah, I just took my time. And I remember watching a film, and I saw in the credits they had production accountant. And I was like, I love film. Like I thought about all
Mhm.
the things I love film. I've got experience in finance. Like, what? And then, no word of a lie, within a week, I saw that Netflix had an opportunity, and I applied. And apparently, over 700 people applied for this role. And I was one of the ones to be selected. So for me, that's God. For me, like, look at that. But afterwards, I saw it. I started researching. How do I become? Da, 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 da. And I just got excited.
Pause. Very
Okay.
important there. So you see this production assistant thing in some random movie. You've watched movies your entire life, but this particular one, you see production assistant. And then a week later or
Mhm.
thereabouts, what was it called?
Production
Production
accountant.
accountant,
Yeah.
production accountant. And a
Yeah.
week later, you see Netflix advertising for, uh, what is it called? Producer.
So, so actually, they were production accountants. So they were advertising for trainee production accountants. And I
Now,
want
this
to
is
highlight the trainee bit, because I told you I was a finance manager
finance
before.
manager. Exactly.
Mhm.
That's so you're seeing where so you're literally downgrading a little, but it's because already God has already given you the like a hint, a sign that there's something here. And many of us get that sign. Many of us get an indication towards our purpose. And I always say that even even a slight drop of disobedience is still disobedience. And that's why, the Bible is categorical that obedience is greater than sacrifice. So
Mhm.
here you are feeling your heart calling you to this lesser, quote unquote, lesser role. Let's talk about that. How did you not get into your own head and say, here I am, finance miss, madam finance manager, madam boss, see, how can I be downgrading? I can't downgrade. I've already made such big strides in my life. How can I
Mhm.
go to trainee? How did you make that decision?
Yeah. I just put that to one side. I saw the bigger picture. I knew it was going to be temporary. And so I
Mm,
just,
I knew it was going to be temporary. Please put in the chat temporary. I knew it was going temporary because many of us put permanence in situations that are put permanence. We put a state of permanence into situations that are temporary. So I want the word temporary in the chat. Let's keep going. This girl is dropping some value bombs. Let's keep not Ronish. Soon I'm gonna write quote book of Ronish. Let's keep
oh,
going. Mm,
yeah. And so, yeah, just making a decision and having a game plan that, listen, this may be the situation right now, but I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to do what I need to do. And literally, I think I did one job. After that, got promoted. Da, 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 da. So when you make up your mind, when you make a decision, but I had to put my pride aside too. I'm not going to lie. I had to put it
yes.
aside and say, do you know what?
Mm,
I can see the bigger picture. Um,
mm,
and yeah, I was just excited again because I made a decision not based on finances. Yeah, I just knew, like I said, it wouldn't be forever, and I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to keep elevating. So, and
mm,
just by me going in that industry, it opened me up to so much more, and I believe that was the preparation stage that needed to happen so that I was ready to go into business. So I believe that everything that we're doing from a child to up now to now, wherever you are, is pushing you to where you need to be. And I see how it all comes together, and I'm so grateful for that.
mm,
And I
mm.
used to say to myself, I'm a behind the scenes kind of lady. Um, but God said to me, you're the star of the show. It's not the actress, it's you. You're the
Where is
star.
Tim Joan? Tim John, we had this conversation this morning where we are saying we are starring the movie of our lives. And it's so funny
Yes.
to mention that. And I want everybody to write that in the comment. I am the star of the movie of my life. I was sharing that with the team this morning. How we must not look at other people. You're the
Mhm.
star of the movie of
Yeah,
your life, Ramesh. Everybody
absolutely.
watching, you're the star of the, and the moment you realize that, you don't have time to look, competing with who's competing with the other, who is doing what. You're not concerned because you
Mhm.
realize you have your own path, you have your own journey,
Mhm.
and you have been
Yeah.
called to slay in your lane. So for me, I'm like, I'm not looking. Do you know those people who in the highway, you're driving on the motorway, and some person is just comes, overlaps, moves to your lane, comes in front of the next person, blah blah blah. But you focus on your lane. I'm not going to go I'm not going to compete with you. You're in a hurry, go. The other day, another one overtook me. I didn't tell you this story on Saturday. Overtaking me, I don't know where he was going. And I'm like,
Mhm.
go, go, move. I even moved, move. 5 minutes later, I found him in an accident with he hit someone else. And I'm like, what was that about? Now imagine if silly me was like, what do you think? Even I can race. My car is a race car as well. Let's no. And guess what? When I reached the accident scene, I'm like, God, nobody's hurt, nobody's what? But I continued. Did he reach where he was going in that hurry? No. So let everybody understand that your journey is yours. There's no hurry. Do your thing. There's a hurry, yes, but there's no hurry, and we're going to talk about that. But that understanding that you are the star of your movie, you're the leads, you're the one and only, and you take your position and put your head like this, wear
Mhm.
that invisible crown, hold your head up high, and say, I'm a representative, an ambassador of the kingdom of God. And as an ambassador of the kingdom of God, I'm going to come and shine my light in this world, and I'm going to take up my space unapologetically. And the moment we start getting into that mode, the fear goes, because you're not competing with anybody. The anxiety goes because you know that I tell God, you've given me the vision, and because you've given me the vision, you know what? It's your work. Let's do it together collaboratively. So I always say, I'm a co-creator with God. What are you? What I wake up in the morning and I ask, what are you and I doing together? Ronish, let's move a bit forward. So now you're in Netflix. Where is that? Your Netflix production stuff? What's happening? Where does that? What's next? Tell us what's
Yeah,
next now.
no, it was fun, being on sets with, celebrities and, doing all those sorts of things. It was a fantastic experience. But what had happened was I was in love with the company. But the
Mm,
role I was not in love with. Okay. I
I
fell out
know.
of love with the role. And so I had to make a decision, you know, that actually this is not working for me. And I had to be honest. And again, you know, I was being heavily invested in, my prospects were great, they listened to me, we could work on whatever types of films we wanted. And, I'll be having conversations with my boss at the time and saying, this is where I want to go next and all of that. And God was like, it's time up. And I actually thought that was my dream job. I thought this is it for me. I'm just going to work my way up the ladder. Um, and that's it. And that's why I'm very careful with what I say, because even though I know I'm operating in this space, I know that God's constantly elevating me and preparing me for my next. So I'm very careful with what I say now, because I saw what God did. He took me out of an environment which I thought was my home, and I was just going to work my way up. And he said, no, I've got another assignment for you.
How did
So
you know? How did you know it was God and not you?
because on my own strength, I was happy with, like, why would I was happy with it. It was uncomfortable. It was like, yeah, it's just, there was something there. There was something there. I will say as well at this time, because I kind of found myself going through the same emotions that I had when I was a finance manager. So I would say
Mm,
that kind of highlighted it for me. And I
mm,
remember actually catching up with my dad, and my dad could kind of see my behavior changes. And he introduced me to someone, and he was like, I want to introduce you to this lady. I think she can help you.
mm,
And I was like, who is this lady? And she was telling me that she was a coach, and I was like, I don't need I don't need that help. There's nothing wrong with me. And I remember kind of shutting him down. I'm like, I found it quite rude that he would think I needed to be coached. I don't even know if he necessarily knew she was a coach exactly, like that was her title, but he was like, she
yeah.
can help me. So
Wow.
yeah, and then I just remember, like, maybe
So
4
your
weeks
dad
later,
was a hookup.
my dad was the hookup. He doesn't even probably realize it, but yeah, he was the hookup.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
and so I started having sessions with this lady, because what I did was I called back my dad. I was like, actually, Dad, I think I need help, because I felt stuck. I felt like something needs to change. I felt like there's more trying to come out of me, but I just, I'm not consistent. I stop and start. There's something stopping me. I wasn't in the right environment. I wasn't around the right people.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I couldn't put my hand on it, you know.
mm,
And
mm,
so I agreed to having some sessions with this lady. We met up and we worked together. And through that experience, it came apparent that actually, deep down, what I really want to do is not what I'm currently doing. And the step for me would be for me to leave. And at that time, I didn't necessarily know what that was. But because the job was so demanding, it's either you're in or you're not. You can't really be half-hearted in it. And so I
mm.
had to make another decision. I was going to leave, and it was just so scary. Oh, I remember I had so many calls of her trying to pump me up
Which year
to
are we? Which year are we now?
we're in 2019.
Okay.
This Yeah,
Before the pandemic.
before the pandemic. Yeah, so this was maybe the August I started working with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the August, and then by the December I had handed in my notice. Yeah.
So you handed in your notice from Netflix in December 2020.
19.
2019. So you're
Yeah.
going into 2020 without really. So tell us about that space because,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so being exposed to all of what I saw, I wanted to be a producer. Okay, so when I thought about producer, they did a bit of everything, and yeah, I just liked the role. And so I knew if I really wanted to take that seriously, I needed to go all in. So I was traveling into London. I'm based in Buckinghamshire in the UK. I was going to different studios, being part of different communities, networking, and just throwing myself in the deep end.
Mm,
Um, and through that experience of me doing that and meeting new people, um, I felt like actually, Manish, you can still earn money whilst you're doing this, okay? Because becoming a producer, there's a process to becoming it, you know. So I thought about what skills do I have? So I have finance skills, accounting skills. And I said, I don't want to work with companies. I don't want to work with companies. I want to work with individuals.
individuals. Mm,
And literally, I think just by me saying that, putting it out, literally again, I want to even say maybe the following week, right? God, Lord, forgive me if it's not the right date, but it felt like that. And I was part of a community. So my first coach led me on to then my second coach. Okay. So we were part of a private community. And someone had put in the group that they were looking for a financial advisor. Now, I know when people say that, it's not really a financial advisor they necessarily need. They need help with managing their money. So
money.
I said,
Mm,
well, I'm an accountant. Do you want to have a conversation? Let me see if I can help you. So we got on a call, and I was like, they were like, I need help with my debt. I need help managing my money. I need help building my credit. I want to get a house. I want to save. I want to get rid of my debt. I want to just,
things.
yeah, just all these things. And I was like, oh, I can help you. Yeah, I can help you with all of that. Literally on the spot, charged them, made up a figure on the spot. And they said yes. They were like,
They
yeah, sure.
said yes.
And yeah, I just started working at that point. And it's so funny, within a year, that client,
Pause.
okay.
So here you are, brand new in the area. Because I really want people to understand that we make things harder than they are. Here you are, you've started this thing, you don't even really know what it is because you're just getting into it, and you go into your socials and you put out a post there that I'm doing this thing, I can help you with the other, and if you want to get in touch, if you need help in that area, get in touch with me. It was as simple as that, Ronish, wasn't it? Literally.
All I just saw someone say, I need help with this area. They wasn't necessarily seeking
Yeah,
from the group.
exactly. And you
Literally,
responded to
I
that
responded,
as a
yes.
solution provider. You're like, you know what, I can help you. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't, that's what I'm trying to say here, that we all have a solution inside us for somebody. And many
Mhm.
times we're scrolling through Facebook and we are seeing calls for help that we can sort out, but we're like, oh, not for me, that's for Joanne, that's for the other, or Joanne is the one who handles Purpose, hopefully she's going to stumble upon that. And maybe
Mhm.
God brought that to your site because you're the one to help that person. You've been assigned to help that person. And
Mhm.
listen, she did not even have a, a fee structure. She did not even have prices. You made up. Do you remember the made up price? Do you remember what it was?
£15 an hour.
£15
And
an
I said to
hour.
her, I'm doing this because she's part of the community. I'll do it for you because you're my, yeah, I think I even told her you're my first client. I think I even said something like that. So I'll do it at that price. So yeah, it was £15 an hour. And then I realized very quickly the value I was adding.
I
So
realized very quickly the value I was adding. Why
yeah,
that is important before she continues is many of you're scared of even starting with a lower price. Just start.
yeah,
Start. A price is a price. And you will realize your own value really quickly and then increase.
yeah,
I prefer that approach than sitting on your laurels doing
yeah.
nothing. Whereas you can I'm looking at Jade. Whereas that's so funny. Yeah, because she knows how much you charge right now. That's you have to start somewhere, right? You had to start. And
Yeah.
that's why I said, do not despise the days of humble beginnings. I remember my first client as well. I was a bit bolder on niche. I charged just $550 for, I think it was 4 weeks or 3 weeks. And like you, I realized really quickly that that needed to change.
Mhm.
And that client continued, stayed with me for, really long period. And I'm very grateful for you, Alice, wherever you are, because you're the one who really initiated me into my calling. You made me realize that I have a gift. And,
Mhm.
I kept telling her, I'm new. And she's like, don't say that. You're so good at what you're doing. And that's another thing I want to say to you people out there. You don't have to advertise you're new. You're the one who
Yeah.
knows you're new. Your
Yeah.
clients don't know that you're new.
And you're
Your
not
clients have
new
to
because
know.
I want to interrupt because you're
You've
not
been
new.
doing
I
it.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
doing this since I was 18.
Yeah, so speak to that because most people say they are new, but they are not new. You've been
No,
doing this thing. It's just that nobody has ever paid you for it. You've been
in that
doing it
manner.
for free in that
Yeah,
regard.
yeah.
You said you've not been doing it since you said you are managing your mom's money at 15. So it's not
15.
even 18. You started managing your mom's work. So you have many years of experience. But many of us are like, oh, I'm new. No, you've been doing it. You've just not been paid for it, and now it's time for you to put a price on it. Ronish
Mhm.
put her price at 15 pounds an hour to begin with. Right now, I'm not even gonna give you her hourly fee because some of you will be like, "What?" Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, where were we, Joanne? Yeah. So yeah, I was saying about through working with my first client.
Oh my God, Jada will finish me. Anyway, keep going. Uh-huh.
um,
Hmm.
Yeah, I say another thing as well because sometimes people feel a bit uncomfortable when they put up their prices and they're working with a client. Now, I made the decision that for a period of time, and I think I said for the next 6 months, I will keep the price at that price for her, but in exchange, I would get testimonies and she would be a case study for me. And it's so funny because I can call on my first client at any point and ask for a testimony. So sometimes it's not just about the money, it's bigger than that as well. And as you said, your first client sort of pushed you into your calling. That's what I think this lady did for me because to be honest, I didn't know about coaching. I didn't sign up saying I want to be a coach. It just started, all I wanted was a bit of extra cash just to keep just to fund what I really want at the time wanted to do, which was become a producer. But through taking on that first client, I saw the need. I saw like, wow, this is a thing. Like, wow, people need this. And I believe all that network, all that me putting myself in uncomfortable positions made me then comfortable, well, somewhat comfortable to go into the marketplace and say, look at me, I'm doing this. I didn't have any coaching specifically on launching. It was just at my first launch, it was just me having an idea, saying yes. And what I was doing was testing the market. I was seeing that there was a need. So you're right, Joanne. Sometimes we can just, oh, want to get everything, our programs in place and this and that. Move,
Move.
make a move, and the
Make a
answers will
move.
come to you because my client then helped me create the program. That's what
Jesus.
happened. She
Mm.
helped me craft it all together. So, I just want to encourage anyone that, has an idea, but first of all, your purpose. Work
Amen.
from a
To
purposeful place, because
mm.
I believe your purpose will make room for you. I was
Amen.
operating from a place of purpose and these things started happening. So, yeah, the rest is history now. We've coached
So
over a
hold
thousand
on,
people.
Onish. Hold on. I know I have to stop you a little, but
Yes,
Onish,
okay.
you know that on the 27th of August, I'm having the Purposeful Business Launch Boot Camp. And this boot camp, why I'm talking about it right now is because everything that you've said about moving past your head, moving, you've already started or you've not started, and you're like, I really need clarity. I really need to make some momentum. And I wrote in the chat right there that miracles happen in movement. We are
Yeah.
having the Profitable Business Launch Boot Camp, which is a 3-hour immersion on the 27th August, where I literally take you through everything that you need to launch or relaunch a business. So if you're one of those people who's been like, oh, I need a little bit of a push, a little bit of a kick, I need the systems and the structures and foundations, what it really means to launch, to run a business, I want to encourage you to join me on that 27th of August. And I want you, Ronish, just to speak a little bit into that because people just start things without really getting the help. Whereas sometimes all you need is somebody to give you that jump start and that push.
Mm.
Would you want
Yeah.
to just talk a little about why we need, sometimes we just need that kick?
Yeah, yeah. So what I would say is I didn't realize it at the time, but what my coach at that time was doing was helping me unravel my purpose and my vision. And
Wow.
that's exactly what Joanne does. She helps you to get clear on your vision, your purpose. And I think what I love about how you coach, Joanne, is that you're very personable, you're very interactive, and you genuinely care about the women that you support.
Oh, thank
And
you.
it's very hard to find someone now who's that interactive and willing to really help you. So
Mm,
I definitely would encourage you, if you have enjoyed this conversation, if you want to get to a place where you're really living on purpose, if you need help just clarifying the vision, if you just want to be around other individuals who are making bold moves, living on purpose, maybe you're not sure exactly what it is, then I just want to encourage you to come along to the Purposeful Business launch. Joanne doesn't play, she's a woman of God. So God had,
amen.
listen, and it's so reasonable. You know, coaching these days is thousands of pounds. But what Joanne has done is made it accessible to everyone. You know, there needs to be an investment from you in terms of your time and your money, but what you're getting is going to be so much valuable. And just by coming alone, it's going to change the game. You know, it's great to come on these calls and hear and be inspired, but real transformation is when you really go in and do the work. Okay, so even with me, when I go live, I can't teach certain things
On the live.
online. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So you need to come in to a private space and work in a closer capacity. So
mm.
yeah, Joanne, I'm really excited. The last one I actually paid for my sister to go on
You
it.
did, yeah.
So you know, and it was a great experience for her. So yeah, I endorse it basically. And yeah,
Yes.
encourage you to invest in yourself. There's no better investment. And I said something earlier is that the only limit is you. And in order to push past that, that's where coaching comes in. It's all about behavioral change, habit changes. It's not just about gaining information. Yes, you know, it's costing you not knowing, it's costing you not living on purpose. The most valuable currency we have is time, it's not money. So make a decision today and start living on purpose. I made that decision when I was 25. I was going to live on purpose.
The most what currency? The most valuable currency
Currency,
we have is time,
time,
not money.
money.
So why are
Most
we
people think it's money.
why do we withhold on spending money on the thing that could completely transform our lives and even give us more time to do the things that we love? It surprises me. And at the investment that we're talking about, I think it's 37 dollars for the three
Mhm.
hours. It's a no-brainer. And
No
those
brain.
where in Kenya we have the M-Pesa, I think it's 4,000 something shillings for you to invest in yourself. For in my head, I'm just thinking like sign up already. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you know I shudder, Ronisha, and I'd want you to talk a little bit about that. To imagine that had I never ever invested in my personal growth and development, which I do up until now, I've never stopped. I don't know where I would be. And I find that the accelerated results that I got, in the that where I started and made quantum leaps was
Mhm.
because of the investments I made in myself. I wasn't
Yeah.
playing. I went
Yeah.
in fully determined to learn. I went in
Mhm.
fully determined to 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 soak as much as possible from that coach.
Mhm. Yeah.
Why is it
Think
important for us to invest in ourselves?
No, definitely. If you think about it, when we're at school, we have our teachers and our parents, you know, pushing us into our greatness. But when we become adults, there's no one holding us to our word. There's no one pushing us. There's no one. We're just going through life. We're not accountable to anyone. We're not
Anyone.
working on ourselves. And that's a big problem. And for many people, once they finish university, they think that's it. No, it doesn't stop. And learning never stops. This, and I know for some this may be a very new concept,
Mm,
investing in yourself, coaching, but it's life changing. And another thing that also helped me on my journey, and I remember this, I remember Lisa Nichols. I don't know if you know her, but she's a motivational speaker in America, and she was on a
mm,
show with Oprah. And during the break, she asked Oprah, how many coaches does Oprah have? And Oprah said, four. So what Lisa Nichols did, she went and hired another two coaches because she said, if Oprah's got four coaches and I want to aspire to be on that level, I need two more coaches to help me. So what
mm.
I'm saying, if Oprah, who is Oprah, we know Oprah has a coach, why would we think that we don't need a coach or someone pushing us? Some people don't have that. So you may have family members who are just maybe that way inclined or whatever and can push you. That's fine. We're not speaking to you. But for those who don't have that accountability or they want something new, um, come along. You won't regret it. It's the best investment. And also, if I'm not wrong, you're doing money back guarantees.
Mm.
I don't even
I
do
have.
money back guarantees on my
I know
thing,
you
but
don't. I do, because I'm like, you know what? We're not gonna fight over this, right? Because I know nobody has ever asked me back for money. I'm that confident in what they're going to get. But that those people who are like, oh, I'm not sure. Then you get that we have a 7-day money back guarantee for this, and it's simply because I want to see you win. I don't want you to say to yourself that I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna lose my money. I'm giving you money back guarantee just to see and ensure that you do that which you've been put here to do. And that money should not be the reason you're not doing it. That's primarily the reason. And when you come back and you're like, I've done all the work that I did this week, I came for your event and I didn't get what you said you delivered, we said we'll give you back your money.
Mhm.
Nobody has ever come and asked me for their money because I have 100% guarantee in the transformation because we over deliver. But at the same time, for those people who are skeptical and they're like, I'm not sure, guess what? I've also covered you in that regard. So yeah,
Yes, sign up, literally.
the
Take a
link
new
is
risk.
go on and do it. And Ronish, I want to ask you something, right? So you've worked with your woman, the coach that now you've done this thing that you said, gone and done the posts, and people are starting to see what you're doing the 15 pounds per hour thing. So now take us to from there, that was the
Yeah.
beginning of 2020. Take us through the last 2 years real quick, like what has the journey been for you and where
Yeah.
you are right
So,
now.
yeah, so from doing that, it's so funny because my first client just endorsed me. She was just like, no, she was happy to go live. She was happy to tell everyone about what I had done. And that's the point I want to make. When you bring value to the market, you'll get rewarded for the value you bring to the market. You are paid
Mm.
for the value that you bring to the market, for the lives that you change. And by me doing that, the marketplace was willing to pay me, ultimately. And so, what am I saying? Purpose. If you've got a desire in your heart, if you've got a call, you believe there's something higher for you, I want to encourage you to just step out, just take a new risk. You know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a new result, it's insanity. I believe that was Einstein that said that. So yeah, so from then, literally by word of mouth, we just kept getting new clients. And I just kept putting the price up. I was like, oh, I can charge. It then went to £30. Then it went to £30 an hour. Then I realized, no, 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 no. Then I went to 997, I believe. It was 997 or 297. It was something like that. 297 for an hour, and then 997 for a package or something like that. And but my customers really helped me to build that out. But it got to the point where I felt, I was like doing so many different things and bringing in business, working with the clients, marketing, this so many different things. Then I had to hire a team, um, and I had to just sort of change how I was doing it. But I was getting a bit frustrated with where I was because I just felt like I wasn't being as productive as I was before. So at that point, I there was a coach who I just loved what she had built, and I wanted to automate some of the things that I was doing because I was constantly exchanging my time for money. So I was
Woman.
constantly doing one-on-ones. So I wanted to know how I could build something that was bigger, and something that was scalable, where I could serve more people as opposed to just doing one-on-one. So at that point, I decided to get a coach, and I went on a business program, which is where myself and Joanne connected. We paid 5 figures for that, and
Five figures. Woo!
pounds.
Praise Jesus in
Yeah.
pounds. Just
And
want to see Jada's comment. Yeah, we
yeah.
paid our nose, but I always say, Nish, sorry to interrupt, but I always say, even just for that multiple £1,000 that I paid, just meeting you was absolutely worth it. And I say this all the time, like, just meeting you, the connections, and even the level, the caliber of thinking, the exposure that I got through that. I had a lot of my business was in Africa and the US. We're getting a lot of clients from the US, and I'm like, I live in the UK, but I didn't really have a position in this country where I live, and I'm like, I really want to grow my client base in the UK as well. And that was one of my strategic moves, that I'm going to work with a coach in the UK so that I'm in a position to be able to have my business more visible here.
Mhm,
And that was one of the most strategic boss moves that I did, right?
mhm, mhm,
Because I now have a very big UK presence as well, but it's about environment. And Ronisha, one of the people who talks about environment all the time. What kind of environment you put yourself in? Let's talk about environment, as before you tell us where you're at right now. Let's
yeah.
talk about environment, because I know it's something that you really love.
Yeah. I always say, put
And
yourself in
answer what Jada is
environments.
asking you. Read Jada's comments.
Okay, so Jada wants to know how much we paid for the program. So yeah, 5 figures. I said, yeah, we paid 5 figures for the program. Yeah.
Like
Um,
multiple thousands and thousands and thousands of
yeah.
pounds.
But I would say throughout my journey, though, from when I got my first coach, I'm always tapped into something.
Yeah.
So, I hadn't invested 5 figures before that, but I was always getting guidance. I was always putting myself in environments where there were other entrepreneurs, because I saw the real importance of that. I love networking because I believe that your network is your net worth,
Yes.
and by us being in these environments, the environments of joining the Purposeful Business Launch, you're going to be in the environment where other people are doing the same thing. Some of us don't have friends who are on elevating, but just by being part of our communities, you can build new relationships, new friendships with people who are like-minded, and they can hold you accountable. Most of my friends at the time were in the corporate world. They had no ambition necessarily to work in a business. And it's not that they're not good at what they or, that they're not good at what they do, or they're not good people. They just don't have the same vision as me. And so I had to put myself around entrepreneurs, around people who are living on purpose, not people who are making excuses about how they hate their job. No, I believe that everyone should enjoy their job. I believe it's an excuse when people are in something that they don't want to be. I think maybe there may be a stepping stone that you may have to take. So you may have to do something for a short period of time just to open a door for you, but it's temporary, But most people are not doing that. They're literally settling. So you need to be on that class, because it's time for you to go to that next level. And I'm speaking to that person who knows there is more. They are feeling stuck. They are feeling like this isn't it. It's not right. It's not, there's something not in. I can't put my hand on it. And I know that person because that was me. Joanne, I would have went on your program. Do you know what I mean?
Very
Um,
quickly.
but at the time I was scared. I didn't know. I was like, what's this coaching about? Is this really gonna help? Like, what is she gonna tell me that I don't know? And that's the other thing. I thought I knew everything because I was an accountant. No one could tell me anything. But I realized the more I learn, the more I realize I don't really.
No much.
There's so much
And
more to learn.
there are levels to knowledge.
Yeah. So it's costing you not knowing, it's costing you not living on your purpose. And you just got to make a decision that from today, I'm going to just live my best life. I'm not going to waste any more time. Um,
Mm,
and yeah, I'm going to live on purpose and get help. A lot of us are
definitely.
trying to do it by ourselves. God did not create us to just do things by ourselves.
Mm,
I truly believe that. I think there's a season, there's a time where we have to do things by ourselves, but the Bible says to seek counsel. And so if you need help
wise
in a particular,
counsel.
get that
Wise
help.
counsel. Mm,
So
seek
yeah.
wise counsel. So bring us to where we to 2022. Where are we at
So bring
now?
you to 2022. So yeah, so as I was saying, so I get carried away, right? Um, so we 2022 now, our core business, we work with organizations delivering financial wellness programs to corporate employers. So I love doing that. I love bringing that into the workspace, and we're really pushing forward the message that it is part of corporate responsibility to help with their employees' financial well-being. So that's one side of the business. But the other side
Mm,
of the business is working with individuals like yourself who are maybe mid-career, wanting more from life, but maybe their finances is a bit messy. So we
mm.
work with them. But yeah, the vision for us, as I said, is one minimum 1 million professionals, helping them
Me,
create
mom.
create wealth. And yeah, I just love the work that you do, Joanne, because it so matters. Sometimes we have to, people who come to me, it's like we have to go back to this work. And actually I've invited you to come into our community on Monday because
Monday.
I understand the importance of knowing your purpose
Mm.
and nailing that vision. So yeah, I'm just excited. The Bible says to write the vision, make it plain, and he that reads it runs with it. But a lot of people ain't even got that written down, so there's nowhere for you to run. You can't run with it, you know. So Joanne is your lady. Joanne
You
is your
and
lady.
and you are their lady. I want everybody to write stand up and be counted. I want you to stand up literally and be counted, because there's something that and when Ronish talks about purpose is my jam. I eat, live, and breathe purpose, right? But even as I eat, live, and breathe purpose, it comes from a very deep place, a place that many people will never ever get to. And I keep telling people that I had to get to that deepest, darkest pit. I had to be the sacrifice, not Jesus, but I had to be the sacrificial lamb for many of you, because if I did not die then, I don't think I'll ever die. You know what I mean? Of course, a time will come for each one of us, but you guys understand what I mean. I have very many more years to live this beautiful life. But I always say this: today, if my God was to take me, Joanne will truly have done what she's been assigned to do up until now. No holds back. Because when I think about what has happened in the last 5 years that I've been running my business, it's literally my whole life in those 5 years. I can explain it. Like, I was in corporate for 13 years. So do the math. And when I add my 13 years plus my uni, my master's, my life, my things, all combined, all that has been compressed in 5 years. Character development, personality development. There's nothing that launching a business has not taught me. But what it has taught me, and I always say this on these calls, it has taught me to surrender to God fully. I wake up in the morning, and as I said, if you're listening to me earlier, ask, what are we gonna do together today? What do you and what are we gonna create together? What do you want me to do today? But for many years, it was, what do I want to do? What does my employer require of me? The narrative quickly changed. And when that narrative completely changed to, Lord, what do you and what are we working with on today? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Who do you want me to invite? What do you want me to be a part of? The story completely changed. The fear started dissipating. All those voices in my head started just going. my confidence started building. I sort of went into this self confidence revolution where I was just evolving into this confident person, even without me recognizing. I started realizing that I had taken my power back. I was able to vocalize and stand up for something. I was able to say, I do not like this, the other. And before, I was just I was just accepting whatever. It's okay. Whatever you say, it's okay. It's okay. Now it's not okay. If it's not okay, it's not okay. Why? Because I've gotten my voice back. But how did I get that voice? I got my voice through being in tune with my purpose and with my calling. And that's why for me, purpose and calling is the floor, it's the foundation. Get that sorted. Make it your business. If you don't know what your purpose is, make it your business to find out what that is. Come for the boot camp. Come for the boot camp. Invest in yourself. Just come and hear. We're going to talk about different things. We're going to talk about the different zones we operate under. Things like are you operating under your zone of excellence, or zone of genius? We're going to go into deep stuff that some of you may never even have heard of. And right now you're like, what is she talking about? Come, come. 27th of August. Put it in your calendar that this is the day that my destiny will change. This is my date with destiny. Can someone write date with destiny? This is my date with destiny. When a man calls you to go for dinner, you're very quick to run there. You're quick to quick. Ah, yes, I'm coming. Gah! Looking for your biggest, fattest Louis Vuitton pass. The man calls you, you go and withdraw all the money in the ATM so that you just go there in case he doesn't have money. But when it comes to the things that truly matter, I remember when I used to, before I give people life in Nairobi, anyway. So can I talk a little bit, Tronish? Can you give me permission to give a story about dating life when I was single? So Joanne, I I used to get this people would call me, different people. Like when I was working in the UN or whatever, guys would invite me for dates. And let me tell you, someone sends me a message, let's go for a date. Sometimes I'll be a bit snobbish. You can't be seen like you're available all the time. But most of the time I'll be invited for a date. And let me tell you, I'm going to go buy makeup, buy things. I want to look, the part. But now when I look back, I'm thinking, I was so, I was so, I just wanted to be accepted. I just wanted to look the part. I wanted to look good for that person. But now where I am right now, by the time you call me for a date, the first thing I'll be thinking to myself, how is this in line with my purpose? How is this pushing me forward into my purpose and in my calling? I remember how we would go to these joints in Kenya. We have different like cocktail bars and all these bougie joints that people hang out and would go, have dinner, have cocktails, have drinks, and you're there for hours on end. Sometimes I'd go out with friends and would get out of the house at 7 p.m. and get home at 7 a.m. And when I think about all that time, oh my, 7 a, just do that math. And now I sit here and I start doing the calculations of I could literally have launched a course that night and gotten people on board. I could have set down the program, put it out, made money, but there are seasons and there are reasons. And why I'm always telling you guys these stories. Some of you are like, why does she share all her business here? I share all my business because some of you are like me or were like me and you identify with that. And I want to help you change, right? Because if you don't look at yourself with brutal honesty and look at where you've been in the journey that you're at, you will always live in this loop of lying to yourself that everything is okay when it's not. And when I looked at myself in the mirror and realized that something's gotta change, something's gonna change. And I started making the changes slowly, slowly, slowly. And here we are. So those of you who haven't booked your date with destiny, book your date with destiny on the 27th of August 2022. Ronish, three things you want to tell people about what it really means to launch your business. I want us to be out of here at 1 hour 30 minutes. So that's 7 minutes. We'll have finished in 7 minutes. But I want you to just share with us from your heart, as you always do with me. What does it really take to launch a purposeful business? What does it take?
Three. You've given me three.
Three, honey.
Um, yeah. Before I go into those three things, I do want to say something that about you were just talking about. Um, Sometimes we use our money, we're quick to use our money for other things, but when it comes to, investing in ourselves, we may think twice. And it's really about shifting your perspective and
Mhm.
seeing your money, the way you spend money, as an investment. Every time we spend money, we are investing. For example, if you buy McDonald's, you're investing in your health. If you watch hours and hours of Netflix, you are investing in that. You're using your time to invest in that as opposed to elevating yourself, right? So I just want to say, when you think about when you're spending your money, see things as an investment. This is an investment that you will profit on for years. $37. I mean, what is that? Maybe 4 cups of Costa coffee or 4 cups of, that's ultimately the sacrifice.
In Kenya, it's called Java coffee. It's
Ja-
four,
ja-
four, 4 day, yeah, 4 days of Java.
yeah.
If you have a Java, if you go to Java and you have your Java and a slice of cake,
Mhm.
literally it's two visits. So if you go with that man who has been calling you, that's that
Mhm.
one day. That guy who is hollering and you
And the
don't
thing
really
is, you probably didn't even have the money really for it, but somehow you find the money. Like, you just find the money. If you don't have the money for this,
or if he can buy for you coffee the way he's buying and he's that generous with your money, he can pay for you the cost. Anyway.
yeah. So let me go back to my three tips. But
Yeah.
so with launching a business, do you know? I just say go for it. You know,
Go.
do not be afraid of failing. I think a lot of times people don't like to move because they're scared of getting it wrong and they want to be perfect. Remove perfectionism, like, and just go for it. Every day we're learning, and I think that's it's just beautiful.
Mm,
If you've got younger kids, you can't just give them sweets all the time. You've got to kind of
mm,
push them into their greatness. You've got to allow them to be that man or that woman. And it's kind of the same thing in a sense with a business. The principle of what I'm trying to say is like you got to give it a go. If you don't give it a go, you will never ever know. So do not be afraid of failure. The other thing I will say is delegate as early as you can. Um,
mm,
don't get caught up with trying to do everything by yourself. Um, of course, if you do not have the resources, you may have to do it by yourself or whatever. But for example, yeah, what I'm saying is don't spend too much time on activities that don't bring in income. So not getting bogged down with, Instagram posts, reels, spending hours and hours trying to create the perfect reel, or getting clogged up with admin work and so forth. Get an assistant, get someone to help you delegate those things and focus on the income producing activities. Um, and the other thing I would say is stay consistent. Consistency is key. One thing that I noticed, and I'll speak for myself, is that I would start a project, so I would do a launch and then I would stop. Do a launch, then I'll stop. No, consistency. Stay consistency. Have that Beyonce energy, in a sense of Beyonce could have
mm.
probably retired ages ago, but she just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going, and now she's probably at the stage where she just needs to release one album a year, and she doesn't even have to.
Doesn't stop.
She doesn't have to, but she stayed consistent. And so consistency is everything. Oh, you post today, you're not getting any likes. So what? Post again tomorrow. Post again the day after. Consistency is key. There are people watching you that you don't even know that they are watching you. Every day miracles are happening in my business. Every day people are introducing me, or we want you on this, or I want to introduce you to this person. Like, you just don't also know what you can create. So through you
Exactly.
becoming consistent, through hard work as well. Like, listen, before you can create passive income, you need to get active. Most people say, I just want to create passive income. There is going to be some activity that you
Before
need to.
you can create passive income, you've got to be active. Can someone write that? It's a long one. Just try to be
Yeah,
active. Before you can create passive income, you've got to be active. That's number what, Ronish?
I think
It's
that's
part
number
of.
4. But yeah. So what am I saying is take action, make bold moves.
Make
You
bold
know,
moves.
there's a concept I call money movement. You have to move, you have to do something. You know, the Bible says faith without works is dead. You have
Ed.
to move, you have to take action, you have to go on that course if you don't know what you're doing. You have to invest in yourself. You
Yeah.
have to get that team member. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whatever it is, but keep moving. Do not stop. Even when you cannot see the results you are looking for, do not stop. Stay consistent. It takes time. It takes time to build something amazing. And so yeah, I think that's I've probably given so much more, but those are my things. But don't despise your humble beginnings. Be willing to work hard. I know it's a lot, and I know, but this is your purpose. This is your calling.
Wow. That's so beautiful, Ronish. And I want to talk. I know the other term has come, but I cannot go without talking about the power of accountability. And you can see pinned there is picket fence virtual services. That's actually Tyra. She's my accountability partner, and I've mentioned I have several accountability partners. Renisha, one of them, and I'm going to talk about the layers. I'm surrounded. Let me tell you, I can't get away with anything because I'm surrounded. So I did, of course, Ronisha told you that I meet with my accountability partner every week, and we really go deep into our businesses and our lives, like genuinely. And again, I met Tyra. Tyra is all the way in the US, and we met in another multiple thousands program in the US from one of my mentors and coaches, and it was actually my book fellow, and I was going to. So I was doing. This was a program we were doing. It's called the Six Figure Queen, and that's where we met. It was phenomenal, and this is where I'm like, I am a six-figure queen, and why I'm bringing this into context is you have to declare it. You're, like I this goes everywhere with me. I'm a six-figure queen. It's on my and now going seven-figure queen, eight-figure queen. But I'm just saying. So when I met Tara in this program, we feel it was a mastermind, very intense. I did it for about 2 years, but we met I think with Tara in the first year of the mastermind, and when as I was coming towards the end, I'm like, I still need someone to work with to encourage me every single and the same. And let me tell you what has come out of that relationship is indescribable. Because she, number one, not only hold me to my goals, but sometimes, like in life, Ronish, because you and I speak a lot, we go through, as an entrepreneur, you go through no other word to put it. We go through really crappy, shitty times, and things can be very rough. Let's call it for what it is. And who do you go to? You have to have somebody that you can lean on. You have to go to have somebody that is praying for you. You have to have somebody who is totally non-judgmental, and that's why sometimes we don't get these spaces within our own general environment, because your family may not understand things the way you in that context. That's why you need to be in community with people who will support you like that. So one of the things that Ronish has also created as another layer of accountability. Ronish, just let's show off a little about our mastermind. Talk about our mastermind where we meet to just brainstorm on our businesses. Do you want to share a little about that? Because this
Yes.
comes from being in these environments. If you're not in
Mhm,
these environments with people who are learning like you will never get to know these things. So why
mhm.
I'm sharing that is because I met Tyra in another program. I met Ronish in this program, and now this is the people I'm making big, bold moves with. We just did an event here in the UK, beautiful event where Jada came and many other people who are here on the 30th of April. One of the best events in the UK this year. Why? Because we made a stand for what we believe in, but it came from us being in community. So talk about the master, just share, because I
Yeah.
tell people these things, but I want
Mhm.
someone safe for I can say I can talk until the cows go home, but sometimes people need
Mhm.
to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah. So every 2 weeks, myself, it's a very private circle in a sense.
Yeah,
Like
very
we
private.
want, we want go getters. We want people making bold moves. We don't just want any and anyone in the group, right? Because the vibration needs to be at a certain
Right.
level. And ultimately, we meet together every 2 weeks, and we have a genuine honest conversation about where we are in our businesses, and we seek help from the other group members. This is where we encourage each other. Maybe we can make introductions for each other. Maybe we can collaborate. So again, off the back of that, I believe even this live came off of it. I shared with Joanne who my ideal client was, and Joanne was like, "Oh, that's my audience," and Joanne's like, "Yeah, like that's exactly who I serve," and that may have encouraged Joanne to definitely get me to come on here. So the power of of a mastermind, meeting regularly, being around high vibrational individuals, people who are going in the direction, and you have to be committed. Like, we don't play. You have to be. Joanne was 2 minutes late. We had already started. I'm sorry.
And when
It's
and when I came 2 minutes late and it was my time and I was talking more than I should have, you're like, your time is done,
yeah,
like nobody was laughing with me, there's nothing like, oh, give her a few minutes extra. The time is the time. Anyway, you need
yeah.
to be in those spaces.
So
And
yeah,
when I
it's
walked minutes later, I was very sheepish. I was like, ah, cringing, right? Because I knew everybody expected me to be there on time. It was an expectation, right? Mailman comes in literally at the time we are starting. That's not their fault. They have to do what it is. And I walk in 2 minutes very sheepishly, but those 2 minutes are time. So you need to be in places where we recognize time, we recognize each other, we recognize each other's input. The vibration, as I said there, has to be at another level. Are you in those places? Ask yourself. If you're not, ask
mhm.
yourself why not.
Yeah, yeah. And also calling each other out with love. You know, there's things that I need to work on myself, and Joanne can, Renish, I think you should do this, or, Renish, whatever it may be. And that's another thing. We don't just want yes people around us. There's times where I said to Joanne, oh, I think you should change this, and she may not have liked it. I'm sure she didn't like it when I said your time's up. And it's not personal. She's my friend. I love her very dearly. But the time is the time. Because if I now give Joanne a couple of minutes extra, I now have to give everyone else a couple of minutes extra. And then there's
Exactly.
knock-on effects. No, we said 7 minutes, 7 minutes. So being around people who are not going to hear your excuses,
Hmm.
not when you're building, you don't need to hear stuff like you're working too hard, or whatever it is. It just, I don't know if you can give me any example, Joanne. Like, there's certain things
Take,
people will
take,
say.
take your sweet time. It's going to
Yeah,
be fine. You'll eventually get it.
yeah,
No,
yeah. Or take a
no.
holiday. It's summer. You need a break. Listen, we are building here. We're changing lives.
I'm
Party later.
summaring as I'm teaching. I'm summaring as I'm teaching. Both of them, we are doing them together simultaneously. By
Yeah,
day, by day, pockets of time, summer.
yeah.
Coach clients do, but you have to have that
Hmm.
understanding that it's your. You have to do what you've been put here to
Hmm.
do.
Yeah, yeah. And you said
And
something earlier, Joanne. You said something about decisions. When someone invites you now places, is this in alignment with your vision? Is this in
mm,
alignment with your purpose? And this
mm,
week and last week, I've had to cancel. A very close friend, had a wedding to go to. I couldn't go. I had to make a decision. It's no, you've got other priorities. A baby shower, a birthday this week. Listen, not right now.
all right.
Not right now. That's how all in I am on my goals and dreams. Party later if necessary. And I don't feel any way because I'm doing what I'm called to do and I know
Ronish,
I'm building.
I don't need any more. I partied enough. It's okay. I did my thing.
Party later.
Yeah, yeah, and I
So we're
told
not
you that.
saying, so final point from me, no one's not saying you can't do both, because a lot of times people think, oh, if I'm working on my goals and dreams and that means that I can't enjoy my life. No, you can have both. You can have both. So yeah, I just hope this has encouraged someone. Joanne, thank you for having me.
How do listen, here we don't live. I keep telling you, this environment we have to share. We have to say. So where do we find you, Ronish? And I know I didn't prepare you for this, but I sort of live in your house, in your heart. So I sort of get permissions for you somewhat, if you've given me permission as your friend. What, how can we reach out to you, and what do you have for the audience as a surprise? Because I know you're always such a generous business. What freebie on finances is something you throw out
Yeah.
there for my people?
Sure, sure, no problem. So,
Throw
thank you all
for
for having me. Thank you all for engaging. This has been a really good call. So, if you are on Instagram, yeah, please do follow myself at
Let me tell
Ronish.
Tim, hold on. Tim, please put Ronish's link, Instagram, and as she talks, I'll also, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So at
thank you.
Ronish on
At
Instagram, yeah.
Ranish. Our business page is at Money Heave, but we're more active on my page. So yeah, do come over and say hello. Let me know that you are on this class and so forth. But also, I'd love to bless you all. For those of you on this call, if you are looking to elevate in your finances, I want to bless you. We call it the Money Bundle. It retails at £27, but yeah, I'm happy to bless you all with that. So, Joanne, what's the hold on, actually. Let me see if I
So
can put
we
the.
are going for the money bundle. Do you want to share the link? Cause
Oh, you got the link? Yeah, please. Yeah, if you
no,
can.
I don't have the link. Do you have it, or do you want
Okay,
ask? Do you want Tim to ask Carol,
I can. I
or do
can
you have it?
find it. Just yeah, just give me 2 seconds. So yeah, I'd love to just bless you all with the money bundle. This is something to help you with your finances.
Money
Um,
bundle, money bundle, money bundle. You see, you people, be associated with the right people. Blessings will follow you. We are getting money bundle during election season.
okay, so let me put that in the chat.
No, we're not in election in England, but my election people will
Okay, I
understand.
think I might have to put it. I think I've sent it to you, and then you can share.
Yes, you can send it to me. And actually, yes, that
Yep.
makes them have no choice than to contact me. So you have no choice than to contact me for your money bundle. And how do you contact me? For your money bundle, we are very quick to send it. Tim,
So I've
can you
put it in
put
the I put it in
ah
the private chat. Can you see it? I put it in the private chat.
hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, they have to contact me directly for this one. Ladies, stop being thrown like that. You need to reach out to me, to Joanne. So you're gonna send me an email. Tim, put my email, please. Now, how do I go back?
Yeah, and do
Ronish,
it now. Send a message to Joanne now. Once she
send
drops it,
the
just say,
message
just
now.
literally say money bundle.
Write MB, MB, and I'll know what you're saying. MB, not megabytes. MB bundles.
Yeah, but take
And,
action, ladies. Take action. It will change your life. Change your life.
and you know, I know how much effort you put for that money bundle because we were in that course together, and genuinely, we people, many people have paid the £27 for it. So for her to be genuinely giving us as a gift, I cannot thank you enough for Niche. And you've always been so generous to my tribe, and I cannot thank you ever so much. May that generosity come back to you in ways that will blow your mind, because you're such a generous business. You give and you give, you give. You're the gift that never stops giving. So send me a message, MB, and obviously we'll be able to send that money bundle. And also you can email me. Some of you are not on social media because you're on YouTube or whatever. Thank you so much, Tim. See you guys why Ronish says it's important for you to have a team. So Team Joanne has shared with you my email address, even as I put it myself, so that you guys can have it there. That's Tim has put it, Joanne at joanneturi.com, because some people are not on social media. So I'll give my parting shots. And the first parting shot I'm going to give is thank you, Ronish. And why it's a parting shot is this: I called on you and you said yes. And that's the same way our clients call on us and we say yes. And we call on our clients and they say yes. I don't take that for granted. They said that when Jesus was walking in this world, he was a prophet, but he was not even recognized in his hometown. Many of us have gifts and talents when we're not even recognized in our hometown. But Ronish, every time I call on you, you recognize me. You recognize me as not only as your friend, but you also recognize me as somebody who adds value, to life and to the world. So I want to thank you so much for being in my life. But I also want to say this, ladies, and a few fine gents that we have who join me, is that learn to listen to God and not to people's opinions. Many people, you go on social media and somebody just abuses you or trolls you or says something once, and you completely stop your business because of somebody. Nobody will ever frustrate me to a point that I won't live to my calling, because I always say that I have gone through a private editing before I was put in, before I went into public elevation. So it's not a human being who has elevated me publicly, it is God. But I know the private editing that I had to go through. I know the pain that I have gone through in my closet, praying every single day for my calling and for my clients and for my purpose. So nobody, no human being will be given any advantage, or will be given, that authority to speak things over my life, and I fall for that. No. So those of you who are shy to show up because you're scared that people will put nasty comments or whatever, that's the ego. Go and be bold. If someone puts a funny comment, you don't like it, delete and keep moving, because your calling is for those who have been assigned to you. And why I'm addressing that is because I hear that all the time. What if people write nasty comments? What if people say mean things to me? No, they're
And
not. That's say that. Say, what did you say?
and
And and exactly. And And in fact, they've even, I always say, until you get those type of things, you're not really in business. Because for you to be really initiated into business, you have to go through some really difficult things, and that includes craziness in this online streets. And it's the same way you walk in a normal street and someone bumps into you, and they bump into you, they hit you, and then they abuse you. Do you stop walking forever because this person bumped into you and or honked at you? Do you stop driving because someone honked? The other day, some guy honked at me out of the blue, and I'm like, I honked back, bye, and I smiled, moving on swiftly. That's the attitude. That's what I want you to have. But above all, I want you to sit and ask yourself, how am I going to be counted as I move forward in my life? How am I going to take the mantle that God has given me with power and with boldness and with authority? But above all, I want you to know that you're worthy of your calling. And as Rena has said, my calling is for those who have been assigned to me. And the moment you understand that, no devil will play with your head. In fact, you'll be like, you're not assigned to me, please, moving on swiftly. You're not even going to pay attention to none of that. Your attention is those people who are aligned with you, those people who you have been called to serve. And when you serve them with diligence, serve them with pride and with joy. Give of yourself. And let me tell you, when you honor God, He honors you back. He will bring people to you that you never thought. He will open doors for you that you never thought possible. Sometimes I sit down and I'm minding my own business and I ask myself, whose life is this? Because never in a million years had I envisioned that I'll be doing what I'm doing. It's not been easy. And that's why I said we're going to talk about the true price of launching a business. It's not easy. But I can tell you for a fact that if you have that resilience, you have that tenacity, you have that accountability, you have that support system, you have that conviction and that certainty in your heart that this is what you've been put to do, I can tell you for a fact that the universe and the God of the universe has your back. You will not be put to shame. You will not go through anything that will render you or stop you from fulfilling your destiny. And that's why I'm calling you to join me for your date with destiny on the 27th of August. I've talked enough. Ronish has talked enough. Follow her money bundle. People are already texting me, Ronish. The money bundle people are coming. They're coming. So I'm seeing you money and they're emailing. So that means email works. Thank you for emailing me. I see you, WM. I see you, RK. the emails are popping through. And that's why, guys, you need to have, your systems in order, that now MB has come and it's already been sent. And literally right now, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to send this to you. So, Nish, cutting short as we go, I want you to close us out. Do you close us out and we're out
Yeah,
of here?
sure. Once again, Joanne, thank you for having me. Ladies, thank you. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. Without us
Mm,
having someone to serve, it wouldn't be possible. So I just want to praise you and acknowledge you for showing up for yourself. I hope that you've taken something from this call. And I just want to encourage you that whatever was for you, that you act on it. Okay,
mm,
stay connected. If you feel aligned with Joanne's program, then get on it. Listen, it's the place for you to be. Do not invest in yourself. Go for it and be willing to fail. Even if you go and you say that was a load of crap. Listen, at least you went and now you know. But I can guarantee you
well,
it's not going to
that
be a
can't
load of
happen, but anyway.
crap. No.
I
Let's
know
be real,
what you mean. Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
So yes, ladies. I think my final comment would be to you all, just go for it. Just go for it. Honestly, just go for it. And I just wish each and every one of you the very, very best in your life, in your career, in your finances. I send you love, I send you blessings. And I acknowledge you for even coming on this call, watching the replay. God, you're good. Thank you for who I am and even the ability to come and share my story. Sometimes we can underrate our story. Joanne's pulling things out of me that I probably don't even think are even they even matter, but they do
Mm,
matter. Your journey matters. Who you are matters, and the world's
mm,
waiting for your business. And so, go forth, take action. We need more businesses. We need more women in business. And it's not just for you, it's for your family, it's legacy, it's part of building your net worth. um, Business is one of the quickest ways to build wealth, having a business. And the last thing I would say is you can do both. Some of you may be thinking, but I work full time, how am I going to manage it? I've got family, I've got this, I've got that. You can do all of it. God says you must say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All right. And the Bible also says, by our fruits we shall know. And so I want to ask you, what seeds have you been planting? Have you been planting poverty seeds, or have you been planting abundance seeds?
abundant, abundant, abundant,
Abundance
abundant,
seeds.
abundant.
Amen to that. And it's time for you to start speaking positively over yourself. Okay. You can do it. You can have a successful, profitable, purposeful, prosperous business. Amen.
Amen. Amen. You can have a prosperous, purposeful, and profitable business as you immortalize your legacy. Do more than just exist. Thrive in your calling. See you in your date with destiny. Ronish, thank you ever so much, my darling. I absolutely adore you. You're such, a rock star in every way. And we really have to go now because, I'm just feeling like I'm just like so excited. I'm so excitable. Like a child who is in a candy store. I just have this good feeling. I have just this good feeling about what's coming. And I just want to pray for everybody. And those of you who are in Kenya where we're waiting for the election results, be at peace, be peaceful. No matter who wins, it's okay. That is the candidate that God Himself has ordained. That's the person God has chosen. And those of you who are watching this and you want your friend to watch tomorrow, share these videos. They are there. We don't throw them. We don't know what's the word. We don't delete them. I'm talking in Kiswahili. We don't delete them. They stay here, so you can always share with your friend. So Ronish, what are you having for dinner? I just realized I have a
I
husband
had
who
dinner
always.
already. I've had
What did you
Chinese
have?
today.
What did you have?
Today's been a cheat day. I've had Chinese.
Ooh,
But yeah,
what Chinese? What did you
I
have?
had chow mein with prawns and chili and spare
Hmm.
ribs. So yeah, I
Ah,
knew I knew I wasn't going to be able to cook today, so I had ate before, and yeah,
you're,
that's it.
you're full in your heart. and you're full in your stomach, so you're just ready to go and sleep now.
No, I'm gonna go and do some work now. I've got some
Work
work.
now.
I've got some things that I've got to do. But yeah, I planned that I knew I'd be working this evening.
Okay.
So,
I'm
and
having
that's
a
the
dinner.
beauty.
Yeah, I'm having a late dinner, but I'm just gonna literally just do my plantain. I just feel like having some plantain because I know Fred, my husband, just literally walked in, so he's probably gonna sort us out. But I just want something really light and then
Like,
send the money bundle because I have like my phone is popping with money bundle requests, so I want to
oh,
attend before I go to bed.
brilliant.
So yeah, but it's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful. Thank you everybody, and as Wangari says, it's been very uplifting as it has been for me, and even Tyra, everybody's saying how blessed they are. You guys get your money bundle. I'm gonna send it to you, and of course we connect. And if you have any questions at all for your date with destiny on the 27th, holla, holla, holla. I'm always happy to respond. So that's it from us. Take care. Ronish, thank you so much. Everybody, mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.